Yo, what is up, you guys? I'm DeAndre,
Javante.
and this is Dre and Jay here today to do our review. Share our quick thoughts on Marvel Studios Moon Knight episode 5. It's 5, right? Yeah, 5. Mm-hmm. And just talk about it, man. I think this definitely was probably either the best or one of the best episodes in the series. It's close up there. It had a lot of emotional weight to it. Great backstory with Mark and his character, and I guess you could add Steven as well, his character, Mark Steven. I honestly, I was blown away by this episode. I'm not even gonna lie. This is probably one.
Oscar Isaac was in his bag.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac, bro. He really is.
That man showing why he can act.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Star Wars, that shit was hidden in Star Wars. No,
that wasn't his fault.
Which not his fault. But now it's like, damn, bro.
He's great casting for this. You can tell he took the role. He really, took on this role. I think this is the best episode by far. This is the best show to hit Disney Plus, as far as for the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
And I definitely think, regardless of what happens in the season finale, this shows a success. Regardless of what happens in the season finale, it shows a success, I think. As far as giving us something new, like Kevin Feige said, something darker, new.
Yes and no on that, but I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, okay, you can go after me. I'm just gonna say we can argue about it. I think this shows a success regardless because I think this show has opened up doors, especially for this character who's a character that's very complex. I think it's taking people on a journey of it's a very complex character. There's a lot going on. I don't know what's real. I heard the comic books like that too, where it's very much always questioning this really happened or this man just thinking this shit happened. So I think the show has done a great job at that. It's look amazing, of course, to go out all the way, but I think the show has lived up to the expectation of this character. I think this character, because being that a character deals with mental health, darker character, I think they've done a great job of executing all those aspects of the character. So, Go ahead, you can go.
No, I agree. I think it's great for the character, especially if just what you said, that it's honestly the best Disney Plus MCU show, regardless of how the finale is.
Facts, and it's also the first new character we got from Disney Plus. But yeah, definitely facts.
I do agree. I do think that they brought a lot with this character, and they've touched up on a lot of things that make Moon Knight.
Yo, Kevin Feige apology also for calling it, saying it ain't dark. It ain't gonna be. He said it's gonna be darker. It ain't that dark. It's a dark ass show. It's touching on a lot of different. It's touching on a lot of stuff that Marvel doesn't touch. That hasn't touched on.
Maybe because I just grew up around so much other shit that I'm desensitized.
But for a Disney show, for a Marvel Disney type content, this shit touches on some shit that we don't really get to see a lot.
Yeah. You say that.
Yeah, think about what character can you name in Marvel? I'm not trying to cut you off, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Think about it. You can answer later on. Think about it. What character in Marvel has this kind of backstory? You're like, damn, I feel sorry for this man. Maybe Wanda at the closest. Then another character you look at and say, damn, I feel that this is some dark shit. And it has a dark upbringing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of makes you like, damn, bro. But it goes to my next point, but I'll talk about it after you. Go ahead. Okay. I'll come back around. I don't want to cut you off.
I'll say this because I do think it's a success regardless as far as the character, bringing the character into live action. It's a success. However, when it comes to Marvel and how we view Marvel's Disney Plus shows, I think we still need a very good finale, as far as to show that, hey, we're improving on this. Because, when we look at some of these recent Marvel Disney Plus shows, the finale has always been the weakest part. And I don't know why there's a reason for that, but, there's a correlation. Loki is probably the only one where I was like, you know what? Okay, this is a good finale. And like you mentioned with the show, with it being darker, I do agree it somewhat is. Maybe because always I'm looking at the word brutality and how Kevin Feige mentioned that word, and I just don't. I don't know. When I think of brutality, it's just a different definition in my head than what I'm seeing in the show. But it's still good.
This shit's mental brutality, bro.
I guess, yeah.
And it's fucking Marvel's beating the shit out, but it's mental brutality.
Yeah, it's a mind fuck.
It's a mind one, bro. This shit's on a different level of brutality.
But I do like being confused as I'm watching. Like you said, that's how it was in the comments. Like you didn't know what's real or what's not, and I'm really enjoying that. I feel like I am. What's it called? Going through a roller coaster ride in this character's head. Mm-hmm. I'll say this though. Yeah, like you mentioned with because I guess we can talk spoilers because we always do. His mom, low-key. I've seen people put on Twitter hey, she joins the list of bad Marvel parents or MCU parents and shit.
His dad was a bitch too.
Yeah,
let that shit go down, bro.
And that's why I was like, you know what, you could say like, yeah, his mom was terrible. Don't get me wrong. But you know,
I looked at his dad more wrong. I was like, you fucked up for that. You didn't check this shit.
Like, obviously, the mom has mental health problems. I think she definitely has shit going on.
I think hers more from grieving.
But yes, it's also grieving as well. But she also has some mental issues. Which the dad, you know, he should have never let that shit get to that point. Like he should have handled that shit early on. So if anything, if we gonna blame some people, if we don't blame somebody, we gotta blame the dad on that part.
Oh, I said when I watched that was the main thing. I was like, man, you motherfucking fucked up dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's so much to get into, man. I ain't trying to be no Marvel fanboy. And they gonna say I'm a Marvel fanboy anyway. But this is one thing I love about Marvel, as far as the MCU especially, and even with the comic books like that with Stan Lee, but especially with the MCU, you really love the person outside the costume. Like, they done a great job. Like, I care more about Mark and Steve than I do about him in the Moon Knight costume. Like, you know, most characters are like, I didn't see him in the costume. I don't give a fuck about the rest of the shit. I want him in the costume kicking ass. I actually care about this character's story as a person outside of the costume.
Now hold on, player.
No,
I still want to see some
action. No, of course you want to see that. I'm not saying you don't want to see that. But what I'm saying, see some Moon Knight. What I'm saying though is like, I care about this character outside the costume.
You should have named the show Mark Spector then, not Moon Knight.
Well, that's what the thing about the Moon Knight. Moon Knight's a deep character though. I'm fucking. No. I'm saying like even when talking about Kenneth, one of our people we work with in our sports show, he was talking about how much he loved it, and he's not really a Marvel guy heavy like that either. He likes, you know, but he was talking about how much he enjoyed the story of this.
Marvel, but you know, it's
not He feels like the MCU as far MCU. But he even enjoyed like the story part like of this film of the show so far. He only been watching the first 2 episodes, but still, I love how Marvel. Sorry, guys. The MCU has like they make you love their characters outside their costumes.
Okay.
Like, can you name a character that you don't like outside the uniform? It's very hard to think about.
I was actually about to say
who.
Up until recently, I was going to say Spider-Man, but you know that's one.
Yeah, Tom Holland might be one. But I think Infinity War, he was at the end game. He was a little bit more.
Yeah,
he was liked a little more. But still, okay, maybe him because he's a kid also. He's the only one. But as far as like anybody else, T'Challa, Wanda. Any other character we had, you enjoy the person that's outside the uniform. I think that's such a great thing. I think it's a cool thing that Marvel was able to do that. Because I think it's a very unique thing, especially for coming into this knowing it's a superhero cartoon, superhero show or movie, and be able to have people enjoy this show, even though you get limited Moon Knight moments.
Well, I mean, to add on to that, it's because you know it's kind of like the basis of Marvel, how it's always been. You know, where when it compares to DC, you know, DC compare these characters and their gods. The mic probably gonna pick that shit up. But,
my bad, guys. My bad.
This nigga just farted.
Yeah, my bad,
guys. You nasty, bro.
Go ahead.
Anyway, but no, when you look at DC and how they view their characters, and they're like, yeah, you need to stop. You need to stop drinking.
Go ahead.
How DC their characters are viewed more as gods, where Marvel their characters are viewed like humans. You know, they're people, they're everyday people. So people relate more to Marvel characters, which is understandable. I still prefer DC over Marvel. At the end of the day, I appreciate Marvel.
Even if you watch on Disney Plus, you can watch the Under the Mask thing, and Stan Lee actually his emphasis was to make characters outside the costume still be cool and likable and stuff like that. It's like a big thing for him. So to go with that point you just made,
and to add on further, like. I think the show, I liked seeing, you know, Mark's journey. I liked all that. Like you said, I like the character. I like the personal journey. And I feel like maybe that's what this show needs. Maybe it's just doing it for the sake of the show. Like, hey, let's build up this Moon Knight character as much as possible. And then if you want to see the badass Moon Knight, hopefully we can see that in future projects like Midnight Suns with Blade. Well, maybe Moon Knight has a fucking movie. Like, maybe. You never know. Like,
but I think also to cut you off, I think that were you gonna say anything else?
Nah, just go ahead.
I think also we have to look at the approach of this show differently than we look at other things, because this character does deal with mental health. We haven't seen that in the MCU where a character deals with mental health and has, I forgot what's it called that he deals with.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah, exactly. We never seen this before in the MCU, so this is something new. So you have to take a different kind of journey. I think before we can get the Moon Knight we have to understand the character of Mark and Steven first, and then get. And I think it'll even pay off more because if once these characters bloom and we figure out once like you said, we're in the journey with Mark, right, and Steven in the mind and all that kind of stuff. Once those characters figure out who they are, or Mark figure out who he is, and he blooms, I think we'll feel the same. We'll be like, oh, this character's finally grown. We've seen him at the bottom. We've seen him grow into who he is now, the superhero Moon Knight.
Correct. Yeah.
The anti, whatever you want to call him, but you know what I mean. Like I'm the same. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, the vigilante. I've enjoyed the run so far.
Agreed. And I'll say this, like, because in the episode, you know, we go, Mark explores his past, which, same thing as WandaVision in a way. But, you know, WandaVision, the second to last, I think, was it the second to last episode or the episode before the, you know, I think it was the 8th episode or something like that, where she was looking at her past and she was like her older self.
Yeah, she went through the whole thing,
like going through all that shit.
The Scarlet Witch come towards her. And stuff
exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
So it was like that with Mark and Steven as they were exploring their past. And then you find out that Mark, his brother died, and it was his fault in a way. I mean, he was a kid. They were just playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Went in a cave. It was raining, and his brother ended up drowning. That's why the mom blamed him, and she started, you know, physically abusing him because of it and all that. And that's where that's what's crazy is because the character of Steven, you know, that's where he was created. He's created as a shield, as a
no fear.
Yeah, no fear defense mechanism, you know, which is crazy. But then I think about it, and this is something that I even forget what happened in episode 5 because there's so much going on. But each time he keeps going back, and he's still in the damn
psych ward
talking to Arthur Harrow. And there was one scene where like he had the bandage over his nose. I think
that's the third personality.
Jake, yeah, because there's literally a comic where he has that on. So I was like, oh shit, was that Jake? And it makes me think maybe when Steven was getting beat, his person, like he put up a shield, which was Jake. And that's probably why Jake is the most like fucking aggressive one because he's the one that actually dealt with the fucking beatings. Like he's the one that actually took them.
That's a real mindfuck, but I hear you saying.
You know?
So you're saying Mark was getting beat, so he brought Steven get his ass whooped, he brought up Jake.
Yeah, he brought up Jake. Like as his defense mechanism, as his shield.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know, and it's kind of since we only have one episode left because there's so much to still uncover with this show. It seems
which
like.
that is my problem with this episode, this recent episode.
But in a way, we have solved some things. Like how as you guys watch, Steven's gone. It seems like, and now the scale is balanced. Which I thought that's what happened. I thought one of them had to go. I don't think you can have both.
Yeah,
of them.
no.
Either I'm glad Steven just see that. Oh, I'm him also. I can do the same shit he does. He's talking whooping ass too. But I think now we're at an even point where maybe you bring. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably bring Steven back and all that kind of stuff. But like. Now he's even out the scale and stuff. So
I don't know if you should bring Steven back.
And you're gonna have Mark by himself then?
Maybe.
And no Jake? Or what are you gonna do?
Maybe Jake. I don't know. It's just
because Mark and Jake are kind of the same in a way.
It's because it's like when you see Steven, like the way he goes, you're like, oh damn, like Steven's gone. So I don't know. It's just like the emotional impact of it all, you know?
Yeah.
Like so it wouldn't hit the same if I watched it again.
Do you think it's better if Steven's dead, Jake's gone, than just Mark, the true Mark?
Maybe.
I wouldn't mind that if they decide because they say like Mark has learned from Steven and now he's in a place where he's able to deal with his own issue, like deal with the problems that he has in his life.
Yeah, exactly.
That would work. That would be like a blooming moment to show him like the evolution of Mark as a person. Because Mark is we all. I'm curious how many of y'all thought that also. I was worried. I'm not worried, but I was wondering like who thought Steven was the original, who thought Mark was the original.
I always knew it was Mark.
You really thought it was Mark? Yeah. I thought it was Mark too because Mark was the one that got married and shit. I was surprised his girl never do that shit. But he probably got. But and also another thing to go into that. I know I'm going to jump all the place. Is that his mom only died 2 months ago?
Wait, she did?
When he's doing the thing, that's like 2 months before we get to the show.
Was it? Wait, how do you know?
In the end, when he turns back to Steven. Remember, he's telling his dad at his mom's funeral thing, right? He's telling his dad. He's outside, the dad's in there, like coming inside. He's like, no. He starts walking off, and he has like a moment. He's breaking down because his mom's dead, and he turns back to Steven. And he starts calling somebody, saying, "I don't know where I am," and stuff like that.
Fuck, you're right. Yeah. Maybe.
So they say like it's like 2 months. That like only like 2 months ago.
Damn. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And then we also saw the origin of Khonshu inheriting or giving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah,
which is cool. It was cool.
It was cool. Yeah, seeing him accept the plea with Khonshu and being the guy and stuff like that. But there's so much going on in this episode, man. And yeah, that's kind of crazy. And then I thought it kind of reminded me of not the Prince of Egypt. What's that movie called? Gods of Egypt.
That's what you want to compare it to?
No. Let me explain why. Remember the scene where the girl died and she's walking down the damn thing to go to get judged?
Yeah,
Did that feel the same way?
Yeah, because it's. That's
I know the same Egyptian thing, but I'm talking about it looked good too. It looked just like I thought. Well, I guess you said that one don't look that good. That didn't. Okay, but it took me right there. I was like, oh, gods of Egypt. It looked cool. I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
The scene and like the sand and stuff, they all look cool.
Because it's like that's how their culture was, like the rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly.
Which another thing I want to add on is it's cool to see these different cultures and how their ancestral planes go. Because she even brought up like the ancestral plane
is so beautiful.
Beautiful. Which Black Panther, you know, like his ancestral plane and how that is. So it's cool to see like these different ancestral planes that people be going to in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as far as where their characters relate to.
And
from a religious standpoint.
Now I'm curious where what happens now. Like, how's Mark? Like, is the Hippo gonna bring Mark back, or how's this work?
She probably would have to bring Mark back, because didn't she say like one of you has to come back to set this right? Because like Carol's, he's sending all those souls or something like that.
Yeah, only one you have to even out the scale first.
Yeah,
but
so
and they gotta get Khonshu free first. She has to get in touch with the girlfriend or his wife to get Khonshu free.
And now I wonder if he's gonna escape out of that psych ward and release Jake this time, because he's still in that damn sarcophagus.
So you have Jake and Mark, and you get rid of Steven.
Maybe.
But if Mark becomes what Steven, if he can add what Steven was and bring that feel of protection and comfort, then you don't really need Steven.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think Steven's always been in him. It's just like, you know, he kind of split it and made it where Steven.
That shit was crazy, bro. If all come over, he's all like change his whole person. I'm like, change his voice and everything. I'm like, oh man, I felt for that man, bro.
You know, I know it's like him with the idea. I'm like, you know, that would be a fun thing to get out of some shit.
What?
Like if I go to work and I'm like, man, fuck.
Change personality.
All right, bet.
No,
off work.
No. Oh hell no.
Chilling.
And you know what I think, man.
In an argument with your girlfriend.
Oh hell no. Real talk, honestly though, like real talk. I'm glad Marvel has done a great job. Or to me personally, I don't know. I don't deal with this exact mental health. I deal with mental health in some ways. I think we all do. Mm-hmm. But the way Marvel went about presenting this and has done I think they've done a great job, in my opinion, of how they've shown what he deals with, and not like make it like a joke or make it like anything that it's like very like, you know.
Yeah, it's
very like, it seems like they really did do their homework on how this works and talk to people like that really knew, or talk to people that dealt with this and like really got an idea of it. You know what I mean? I think that's a great way to do it. And I think it's brought awareness for sure. Learning more about it and stuff like that. So I think they've done a great job with that. You know, I know that's always like a weird line to cross, because you're like, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful in this way, or I don't want to make something look like it's not what it's not. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think they've done a great job of having something that feels like, you know, correct in a way. Yeah. That's how, you know what I mean?
And you know, another thing I just want to add on real quick, because I know we talked about Mark and his trauma, and that's what like why Moon Knight is, you know, brutal, and he has this can't think of the word, but you know the way he is. But you know, another thing that is another reason why he was like that, which I don't think the show will touch up on, considering they already went back on his past in this previous episode. But in the comics, it was also his race, because you know, being a Jewish,
yeah, he has a Jewish. He takes it off his head.
Yeah.
And everything, yeah.
So that was something that, you know, being bullied and shit turned him into that as well. You know, so. Well, no, I was just gonna say, I don't know, Marvel, they kind of playing it safe on that shit for some reason. I don't know, I just feel like
you know what, I used to think that in Cheaper by a Dozen they kind of talked about like the racial, like with the Indian kid, they kind of brought like race and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean Disney Cheaper by a Dozen has, but I'm talking about like from
a Marvel standpoint,
cinematic universe, because and even with Miss Marvel coming out.
We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it, but you know, will it happen? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious too. But
those are important topics and important topics for discussion outside of the shows. Call it what you want. Y'all can say that shit is forced or not, but I mean it is.
Well, I don't think it's forced if it's a character that actually deals with that. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're changing the character's race or anything to put a message out. I think this character is truly. This is who the character was created as.
And sometimes and for those instances, those are what made the character who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, why they fight for
yeah, exactly. That's why I don't look at Miss Marvel when that comes out and think like, oh man, they're doing some propaganda. I think that's true who that character is. So, you know, I don't think that's forced or anything like that. But as far as shows, I love Mark, man. I feel for that character, man. I think that's probably one of the like the first, like I don't know, not the first, I wouldn't say, but like, that's one of the characters I really have felt for in the MCU as far as the character. I really felt for that man. I know a lot of people say this episode's kind of like sad and shit in a way, and also like I think a lot of people liked it. I haven't heard many people say they didn't like it. Yeah. But I think it's also just a great episode. I think people like it just because it has a realness to it. Like it just feels like, damn, you know what I mean? There's really like when I watched it, really wasn't much I could say to it. It was like
you really connect with it.
Yeah, you connect with it, but also it's like, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this character, I've learned, I love this character more now than I did day one when I first knew about. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that much about Moon Knight as a comic book reader. Like I didn't know much about him, but I'm so interested in the character. And I think he's so cool of a character just because of the story. His character, the character of Mark by himself. You know what I mean? So, right. It's been enjoyable, man. I've enjoyed the ride. To me, this shows a success regardless of what happens in this last episode. I think it's gonna be good. Regardless, I know the runtime ain't that crazy. It's only like 42 minutes, something like that, 43.
Which is crazy considering all the shit that you have to.
Still explain.
Jake. We haven't seen Jake at
all.
I
don't think you don't need, I mean, yeah. I mean, we've seen Jake a little, but I mean, they don't go to Jake right. They can always say that later on.
Yeah. So I mean, this just tells me that maybe we're probably gonna have Moon Knight, either a Moon Knight movie or.
Do you think they would bring a season 2? Think they would think about it?
They already said they wouldn't. Remember when we talked about in that CBN? We said Hawkeye and Moon Knight both weren't getting a season 2.
This probably be he's not coming to a movie though.
Most likely, I would like to see his own movie. Especially if they're like, hey, all right, y'all seen the Bat story? Y'all seen? We already
got the origin.
We already got the origin.
Yeah, more of that. Yeah.
Now we can have the action, and I like that would be a cool thing to have, you know. But we'll see. It is an enjoyable show. I think it's definitely probably one of my favorite shows. Probably my favorite show in MCU Disney Plus series.
And it's different than anything we've seen. I think this is the shirt. I think that's why everyone loves it. We love it because it's so different than anything you've seen in Marvel. It doesn't follow the typical Marvel formula.
Yeah.
It really does go outside the box. It really does do something that's very different, and it takes chances, and it's paying off. I love it.
Very cultural as well. Love the music at the end.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah. Oh, you see, I never noticed that. You notice at the end. I don't know if you ever watched the credits all the way through, like where
the night gets the moon.
You notice how like in this newest episode they show them with the instead of like the regular, they show like the suit.
Yeah.
The first, and then I went back to the first. Like, did they show that in all the episodes? And I went back to the first episode. And they didn't show that one. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I like it.
I'm enjoying it, man. I'm rocking with the show. So shout out to Kevin Feige and the guys doing it over there, man. They're doing a great job. Doctor Strange coming out next week. That's gonna be crazy. So a lot of good stuff.
For sure. I agree. Why are you looking at me like that?
I know you don't think I'm riding that Marvel thing. You know what I mean? You're saying the truth.
No, I ain't gonna say you dick riding. You know, for this one. For this once, I actually agree. Kevin Feige is doing his thing. I guess I do owe you a little bit of an apology, Uncle Kev.
Okay, man. You be telling I told you you'd be speaking that truth.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts down below on Moon Knight episode 5. If you enjoyed it, let us know what your general thoughts on it. What are your theories for, you know, future episodes? Well, the last season finale for sure. And where would you want to see Moon Knight after this series ends? Let us know that as well. And if you enjoyed this review, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys, I'm DeAndre.
One more thing to add before DeAndre goes off. So this week, May the 4th coming up this week, Wednesday. A lot of content coming out, Star Wars, a lot of stuff coming out. So we ended up discussing. I know we're doing CBM this week. We're going to discuss when. But if we might do CBM on Wednesday. If we can do CBM on Wednesday, we can get all the Star Wars content, see what's out there.
For sure. Yeah.
And see what's going with that. But we're going to try to get CBM for you. Maybe it might be Thursday, because I'd rather do it later in the week just so we can get the Star Wars stuff out there too.
Yeah. And if there's any topics that you want us to cover, be sure to post those down below.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about the Moon Knight. We'll have the Moon Knight finale by that time and stuff like that. Getting ready for Ms. Marvel or Obi-Wan next. Obi-Wan next, huh?
Obi-Wan, yeah.
Yeah, getting ready for Obi-Wan and stuff like that. So Star Wars, May the 4th this week coming up, man. A lot of good content gonna be coming out, so make sure y'all keep yourselves tuned in. We're gonna try to keep y'all updated as well. So I'm excited. It's a lot going on.
Yep. But yeah, again, I'm DeAndre.
I'm Javante.
And this is Dre and Jay.
Deuces.
Deuces.